Hey Andrew, what's up?
Brian, how are you?
Hey, what's going on, man?
Not much. Can you hear me okay?
Yeah, you sound fine. You know,
Awesome, dude.
uh,
Thanks so much for having me, man.
no problem, no problem. Anything for friends of Reggie's,
Oh,
right?
yeah. Reggie's
Uh,
awesome, dude.
you know. So you came to my attention through Reggie Wu of
Mhm.
Heaven's Edge and stuff like that. I listened to your stuff and your older stuff and I this the video Reggie posted. So I enjoyed it. So I asked him first. I go, "You think he'd do an interview?"
Yeah.
Awesome. He goes, that's awesome. Let's get it done. And all of a sudden now Reggie's sending me a couple more. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. That's awesome, dude.
So I'm obliged to help him out, no problem. So tell me, you started your career what, around 12 years old? You started learning or taking lessons?
Yeah. Yeah. Around 12 years old, I started playing the guitar and I became obsessed. Like right then and there, I knew that's what I wanted to do. I loved all the 80s bands and stuff like that and the classic rock. Um, yeah, by the time I was 17, Reggie Wu got my start with teaching. I
Right,
knew from a young age I wanted to teach, but unfortunately, as a 17-year-old with long hair, no one would hire me. So
right.
Reggie was kind enough to start passing me off students. He has a big wait list, so he started passing me off students.
Uh-huh.
Um, by the time I was 18, I had about 25 students that I drive all around South Jersey to. It was kind of nutty, but fun.
Oh,
Um, and then I went and got my degree in guitar performance from Musicians Institute in Los Angeles. Came back to New Jersey and got my dream job being a full-time music teacher. And that's pretty much what I've been doing, for the past, oh my gosh, I don't know, 14 or 15 years, something like that.
that's great. That's great, man. So tell me about the very first band you were in before you even recorded anything, or was it when you recorded stuff?
The first official band I was in that I could think of was a band called Blasphemous
Uh-huh.
that are still around today. They just put out an album like, gosh, I don't know, 3 months ago, and it's awesome. So shout out to them. They're from Philadelphia area. And it was really cool because I was 16 years old and they were all like late 20s, early 30s. So it was a
Uh-huh.
little intimidating. But they were all such cool guys and they took me under their wing. They taught me how to gig, how to work in a band. And that really laid the groundwork for, all the other different, metal bands and projects I joined. So it was really cool.
Cool, cool. So, what type of music did you listen to, in your younger years?
Definitely it started with classic rock, Led Zeppelin, Jimi Hendrix,
Mhm.
and then it quickly migrated to the 80s stuff, which is a huge influence. That's why, I know about Reggie. I'm a big Heaven's Edge fan. I love Motley Crue, I love Rat, I love, Randy Rhoads, Van Halen, you name it,
Oh,
just
yeah,
all the
yeah.
greats. But then around maybe like 16 or 17, I found out a band called Children of Bodom, which is
Uh-huh.
like melodic death metal. I've got a little poster of Alexi Laiho over there.
All right.
And that blew me away because it was so musical, but it was this kind of more extreme music. So a big fan of Children of Bodom, In Flames, and that kind of got me more onto the extreme metal side of things. And that's kind of what music I like to write. Although I love playing all styles, that's like kind of what I'm into.
Wow, wow. What album did you listen to over and over again as a younger guy?
That's an awesome question. I mean, certain ones that come to mind, like I'm just like again because I love metal. Certain ones that come to mind are like "Are You Dead Yet" by Children of Bodom, "Come
Uh-huh.
Clarity" by In Flames. Those are like this melodic death metal albums. Um, as far as like a little before that, the '80s albums, like again, I love Motley Crue. "Too Fast for Love" is
Yeah, yeah,
awesome.
yeah.
Shout at the Devil when I mean again I didn't grow up in the 80s, but when I was like 13 or 14 I first saw Shout at the Devil, and that way they dressed up. That's how I started dressing, and me and my friend, we did the eyeliner and everything. We were really fun, we loved it. So I
Right.
think that made a big impression, the Shout at the Devil album. Um, so like a little bit of everything, a lot of hard rock and metal, that big blend of those two. I do love the blues as well, but
Cool, cool. So, what established bands did you get to see live in your younger years?
oh, dude, I used to go to see so many concerts. Children of Bodom was my favorite. I saw them about 13 times. Um, gosh, I mean, yeah, my first ever concert was Motley Crue and Aerosmith. That was freaking awesome. That blew me away. I couldn't hear for 3 days, and it was awesome. Um, yeah, I loved going to concerts. That was a big part of my youth. I saw Poison, I saw Rat.
Wow.
Um, I saw Van Halen when they did the reunion tour.
Right.
So that was cool. Yeah, I was very lucky that I just have a lot of friends. I was in the School of Rock. Have you ever heard of that program? Like School of
Right.
Rock at
Yes.
Cherry
Yeah.
Hill.
Yes.
So I made a lot of friends who were musicians too, and so we all went to these concerts together, and that's kind of was my friend base. It was really cool.
Right. Right. Wow. How does that School of Rock actually work? I mean, I photographed kids already in School of Rock, and actually only maybe two, three towns away from me, there's
Mhm.
actually a School of Rock building.
Oh, that's awesome.
So so what do they teach you, or how's that work?
Yeah, I love that place. I grew up learning there, and then I even ended up teaching there for a little. The way it works is you sign up and you get, in with your private instructor. So it starts out as private lessons with your instructor, and then every season, so about every 3 months or so, there's about, 3 or 4 shows, and you can either pick your show or they just put you in one. So varying styles. So funny
Right.
enough, I always did the rock and the metal shows. I did Aerosmith, Kiss, speed metal, you name it.
Right.
And then, so the shows would be comprised of the students. So each week you meet with your teacher, and you also meet with your your show and the group of kids who are doing your show, and they would hand out the songs, and after 8 weeks, you guys would put on this awesome concert of whatever the genre was. So it was really
Yeah.
cool way to meet people and also get your feet wet and performing and get kind of gigging. They play out a little. It was a lot of fun.
I'd love to know if any of them kids ever really made, a real impact in music or stuff like that, or they stopped or went on to bigger things or stuff. It's just kind of interesting to learn a little bit about School of Rock, actually. So
Yeah,
that's pretty cool. So I went back a little bit with your history and stuff like that, and tell me a little bit about Adverse Concept. Okay, that
absolutely.
came out in 2011, Symbol of the Lost. And actually, I'm reading reviews, 4 stars, and like you got great reviews. I mean, it's only an EP, but I think there's like 4 tracks on there, and
Mhm.
you got 4 out of 5 stars on a lot of reviews. So that's killer,
Thank you so
and
much.
yet you're talking about 80s metal. This is basically black metal,
Yes,
right?
sir. Yeah, that's correct. Yeah, and that EP was mostly black metal. Yeah.
Oh, cool. So tell me a little bit about that.
So Avers Concept is pretty much like my baby. This is my project. It started when another band I was in called Astral Throne, who we were kind of like taking off in the Philly area, broke up all of a sudden, and it was a really dramatic breakup. It was funny. We literally broke up like outside the bar, and everyone watched. It was awesome.
Wow.
So funny story. But me and the drummer decided, let's keep rolling because me and the drummer were close friends, and we wrote this Symbol of Loss EP. We wrote it in New Jersey, and we never got a chance to record it. But when I went to college in Los Angeles, I met an amazing drummer named Patrick Lujan. I think he's still out there playing in metal bands today. I hope he is.
Mhm.
And I kind of regained my spark, and I said, "Hey, man, I've got these songs I never recorded. And would you be interested in checking them out?" And we instantly clicked, and we rehearsed them. We recorded the EP out in Los Angeles, and that was pretty much it. We didn't really play any shows. We kind of we did put it out there. We did get some reviews. Um, and then to be honest, what's kind of funny. So then I moved back to New Jersey. So I kind of had to restart.
Right. Yeah.
So it's a bit of a long-winded story, but long story short, I never stopped writing for this project.
Right. Yeah.
It was always my goal to put out material. It just never happened.
Right.
Um,
Oh,
yeah, so a bit of a struggle of things.
wow.
A lot of people don't know it's tough writing music sometimes. The couple things that like kind of happened to me, I don't know if it happens to musicians, is one was the burnout.
Right.
I do music as it's obviously my passion, it's my life, it's
Right.
also my livelihood, it's my job. And when
Mhm.
you do those two things all the time, oh my gosh, sometimes you just don't want to play music when
Yeah.
you come home at the end of the night.
I
Uh,
understand that.
Yep. And then the other thing is I ended up getting some pretty wicked tendonitis over playing. I was teaching, 6 to 8 hours a day. I know Reggie does even more,
Right. Yeah.
which is crazy. And it actually ends up wearing and tearing on those muscles. So it's like you got to kind of watch how much you play and stuff like
Right.
that.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Um, but I'm super excited to say we have an album written. We have 7 songs. It's been finished like musically, probably I don't know, probably almost a year. It's like I think since last April we finished it musically. It's all pre-produced.
Right.
That's something that's really cool. Is now that I'm a little older, I have a studio here,
Mhm.
and we were able to pre-produce it, and lay it out. I have my electronic drum kit out there, the guitar, the bass, and now I'm just working on writing the lyrics, and then hopefully this year, summer, maybe summerish, we could put it out. And it's been a long time coming. We've actually had, gosh, so many songs. We've had at least an album two of worth of music over the past 10 years
Uh,
that just never came out.
uh,
Just
yeah.
fizzled out, man. It's super excited to just get back out there.
When you see that you got great reviews, do you really want to stop?
Oh no, I never wanted to stop. Absolutely not. So when I came home from Los Angeles, I found a drummer. I went through a couple different drummers, but I found my drummer. He's amazing. He's my best friend, and we've been playing together for 10 plus, probably, oh my gosh, like probably longer, 12 years. And we wrote 3 or 4 songs, and that was when I was hit my first like tendonitis.
Mm.
So I took a pause. But a year later, we came back strong. I wrote 7 songs, brought back a couple. So we had a full album in about 2015, 2016. I don't know. I'm shooting from the hip here. And I burnt out, dude. I had all the songs written. I
Uh,
didn't have a studio, so they were all just like little clips on my phone and my computer. It was a mess. You know what I mean? And it
yeah,
was
yeah.
just me and a drummer. It wasn't really a band, and I burn out, and it's funny. So it's been like an uphill battle. But now that we have the pre-production, and I'm still working with the same drummer, and now I have a bass player too. My bass player is my awesome girlfriend. We've been together 8 years, and so she's my support.
Uh,
It's just us as a power trio, and I'm really confident this time that we can put it out and just go play a couple shows and just say it's out.
yeah, definitely, definitely. So how many guitars you have?
Like my collection.
Yeah.
Oh, I don't know. Um. I think I'm about around 20, and obviously they're not all here. And I used to have a hoarding problem. I used to have a little more than that. And I used to have like my old 1 bedroom apartment. It looked like Guitar Center. It was like the
Uh,
whole wall, and I
uh,
was like, oh my gosh, I need to slim down.
cool, cool. So
Yeah.
what's your favorite one?
Let's see. The very first one in the row here. That's
Okay.
this. Oh, I might as well grab it here. I'll show you real quick. Um, This one's really cool. It was like a gift from my parents from graduating college because I was no good in high school. I was like I wasn't a good student, so they're hesitant to send me to college. But this guitar was built for me, which was cool. It was like when I went to college, they were offering like a 40% discount on custom shop builds.
Right.
So from the brand Sir, and I built this guitar to pretty much do like everything. So what's funny is it plays, the blues. It could play rock. It could play metal.
Uh,
And it spoils me because it literally like it's pretty much the only guitar I play. The other guitars they're just for fun. This is like the one that I pretty much do everything with.
cool, cool. So tell me a little bit about the guitar, pickups, strings, everything.
Sure. I keep it just in standard tuning. 9 through 42, which is like the light gauge of strings.
Mhm.
I use Elixir nano webs. I just love them. They're coated, so they're really sleek and they last forever. They're nice and shiny. I think the pickups are, just the Sir pickups. These are SSH plus pickups,
Okay.
which are pretty high output. So like I said, what's pretty funny is even though this guitar looks like a classic guitar, it literally plays metal better than my metal guitars. It plays jazz better than my jazz guitars. It's kind of a do-it-all guitar, like, the five-way switch and all the, magic stuff. So it's really great.
Wow.
Um, and to round it all out, okay, quick shot, this is corny. To round it all out, we got my hero in the back, Mr. Reggie Wu. I had to have him sign my guitar. So he's my teacher, and even now, as you saw in the video, I take lessons with him. He teaches me so much, not only musically, but just like being a music teacher, and he's just awesome, dude. And even now he hands me off students. He's just the
Uh,
coolest guy, dude. So.
cool, cool. I know when I talk to him, he goes, he's a fantastic guitar player, but yet he's even a better person.
Oh, yeah, he's too sweet, man. And he's an awesome person too, dude. He's just great company. There's so many great musicians out there and just so many, it's so cool.
Cool, cool. So how'd you hook up with him? Did he have
So I
an
started,
answer or how'd it work?
so I started taking lessons from him when I was like 15 years old. And
Right.
funny enough, it was the School of Rock. Everyone would talk about him. Everyone's like, dude, you got to get lessons with Reggie. All the good players took lessons with Reggie. I'm not kidding you. All the shredders.
Uh-huh.
So I called or my mom called, and it was a little bit of a wait list, but once I got in, I was hooked. I still have all my old lessons booked. They're all right here under the couch. And
Mhm.
he got me really rolling. And he really encouraged me. He really got me on the right step to kind of like how to shred, how to play the 80s shred, the metal stuff. But then once I was 18 or I think I was 19, when I got into college, we parted ways, gave him a big hug at, So lessons for about 3 years. Now, funny enough, fast forward like about a year ago, so I don't even know, 15 plus 17 years, Heaven's Edge puts out Get It Right, the new album, and I just love it. Amazing album. And that really inspired me to just to reach out and be like, dude, I love the album. I'd love to get in lessons again. And we were able to do that. And so we meet, every Thursday and we jam out together and we write music together a little bit too, which is fun. He'll show me some new Heaven's Edge stuff and it's really cool.
Cool, cool. I mean, I don't recall ever seeing him playing live with a student or a friend and put the video on Facebook before. So you must really impress him.
Oh, that's awesome. Yeah, we're great friends, man, and it's so cool to reconnect after such a long time too. And it's cool too because we're both teachers, so it's like it's fun. We have a lot to like talk about and we have a lot of similar stories. So it's cool.
Cool, cool. So if someone wants to take lessons with you, how can they get in touch with you?
Honestly, you could just email me. My name, Andrew Farace, FARCE, at gmail.com. You just reach on out, send me an email, and we'll get you scheduled up. I offer lessons obviously here in my studio, and also offer them via Skype if it's a little easier, or if you're not based around this area. And you just try one out. There's no commitment or anything. Try one out, see if you like it. I do pretty much every style, pretty much any like beginner, advanced. And we just hang out, jam, have fun. That's what it's all about.
Cool, cool. Is there any new guitarists out there that really impresses you?
Oh man, they're all so crazy, man. I mean, gosh, the thing is like the guitar game has changed. Like it's like almost everyone does this and that. It's not really my thing. Like I'm more of like the traditional player,
Yeah.
but they all blow me away. Let me think of who I really like nowadays. Uh, Gosh, no, I mean, I'm like, oh, you know what? All my heroes are like the older guys. The new guys are crazy, like like Tim Henson, and I
Uh,
see my students bring me that, and I'm like, oh my gosh, I can't play this. But no, my all my guitar heroes are probably just still the older guys. Like I love Alexi Laiho. I love Eddie Van Halen. I love Jimi Hendrix.
mhm.
Um, yeah, I can't even think of any, unfortunately, but I know there's so many out there. Oh, well, Guthrie Govan, not that he's newer. Guthrie Govan's awesome. Love him, he's great.
Wow. So who decided to do the video? You or Reggie?
That's Reggie's idea. I'm camera shy, man. Which is actually one of my biggest faults as a musician. I don't like have any social media. I don't have videos of me playing on YouTube. And honestly, I do regret that a little. But as a funny little joke, whenever I put on the camera to play, I like the mojo gets sucked out of me, man. I'm like, I know I'm recording and it's really funny. I gotta get over it one day, but
Yeah, because
so,
I asked Reggie, I go, how do I get in touch with him? I says I can't find him on Facebook. He goes, has no media, you know,
yeah.
Facebook, you know.
Hmm.
So he hooked me up in other ways, and we're here now. So are you working on any other material besides the stuff for Adverse Concept or whatever?
Mostly trying to focus on that. Again, just writing lyrics at this point, which is, oh my gosh, a headache. But no, not really too much. I do jam with some friends here and there. I might have another project coming up, but we're not sure what it is yet. It's just me
Right.
jamming with some friends. So mostly that. Yeah, just that's keeping my hands full. My gosh, I just want to get that out there. So.
So if you did make a new album and stuff like that, would you do it independently or would you look for a label? And do you think a label's necessary anymore?
It's a great question. I think we're gonna do it independently because we've come thus far.
Right.
Um, we even like make a joke. Our demos sound pretty good, so like, why go to a studio?
Uh-huh.
But we will go to a studio just for the drums, like to because that's a whole undertaking. As far as a label, I mean, not yet. I mean, in the future, there's definitely a chance. But definitely want to release one independent. My girlfriend also is doing the artwork, which is cool. I'll be doing the mixing and all that. We wrote it all, and I think it's just like a certain pride to just putting it out yourself. I know how to nowadays you just put it on CD, baby, and it goes all through the distro, and they'll put it on Spotify and Apple Music for you. Um, as far as like one day, I think a label can be good for if you really want to get out there and tour. Like those bands that do the tour in all the years. I think at
Right.
that
Yeah,
point you
yeah,
need a
yeah,
label to just to manage all that.
yeah.
Um, that's obviously that's not us right now, but one day, who knows? If the time was right, I think that a label can be beneficial if you really want to make it your career. Absolutely.
Right. So when you have students, what's the age limit?
Age limit. Oh,
Yeah,
there's
you gotta start somewhere. 10 years old, 8 years old, 15
oh
years.
age limit. Oh, like oh yeah, so yeah, like well, I mean, honestly, I usually start like six and up. But
Uh-huh.
what's really cool is I've been kind of luckily blessed with my students are almost all like adults, like older teenagers, adults.
Uh-huh.
It's kind of awesome. I have a lot of long-standing students. A lot of my students are like, I've had for like 10 years.
Uh-huh.
A lot of like guys into hard rock and metal, a lot of shredders. And then funny enough, I have a lot of beginners who are older too. I've got a lot of students in their 50s and 60s. And even though they're just starting out, they have all that music inside of them because they
Right.
listen to it and they really want to be there. And it's a really great, I have a really great student base. I'm super blessed because I have been on the other side where I've worked at schools,
Right.
and you deal with all the little kids, and it can be fun, but it can be draining. But honestly, I take all ages, all skill levels. Anyone's welcome to come by. Six is usually where you can start, although I do probably have better luck with like eight and up. Eight and up is usually a great age to start.
Right. Yeah. And how long's the session?
Funny enough, I kind of offer like different sessions depending
Right.
on what you're looking for. So I offer 30 minutes, 45 minutes, and 60 minutes. I do admit the majority of my students are 45 or 60 because I do believe it's a better experience than that traditional 30-minute lesson where you're in and out.
Uh-huh.
Although I do like the 30 minutes for like Skype lessons work really well. So that's a great way to, get started if you're on Skype. Yeah.
Cool. Cool. Have you ever had a student come in and knock your socks off right off the bat?
Oh, absolutely.
Uh-huh.
Couple times, man. Absolutely. Yeah, I had all kinds of stuff. Yep. I've had I used to work at a music school and I had like a teenager come in with this jazz music, this really advanced jazz music. And,
Right.
at that point, I really haven't read anything like that intense in a long time. And he's like, yeah, I just want to work on this piece. So I'm starting to sweat. I said, all right. And he's like, and he starts playing it and he's just shredding right through it. And I'm just like, hey, man, it sounds great. Like, you sound awesome. He didn't really need any help on it. Yeah. Helped him with one or two things, but he was great. I had one guy that came, a year ago, and he was an older gentleman, and he came and he was just a shredder, and we both just jammed. We both just traded licks, and we just had that one lesson together and had a blast. Yeah, absolutely, yeah, and sometimes too, like it's a weird thing with music. I would love improvisation. Like it's one of my things I love to teach and do, like improving, playing the blues. And I one time had a student show up. It was actually another teacher student. It was like a makeup lesson, so he was with me, and he was like 13 or 14. He was a blues player, and he's like, "Let's jam the blues." I said, "Absolutely." Oh my gosh, dude, this kid smoked me. I was not ready for him. I just was like, "Wow!" And yeah, so that was really cool. So it's sometimes you got the mojo, or sometimes yeah, absolutely.
Cool.
Yeah.
Cool. So when you told your parents you wanted to go into music, did they support you?
Yeah, absolutely, which was really exciting because I never did good in school. Actually, to be honest, I dropped out when I was 16. I just hated it. I did go get my GED, which did say high school diploma on it, so that's cool. Started teaching when I was 17. They were a little worried about sending me to college because they knew my history with school,
Right. Yeah.
but they were so awesome to send me, and I was pretty much a straight A student in college. I absolutely loved it. My teachers, they were insane. They were awesome. Um, so yeah, they were very supportive. And I mean, also too, putting me into lessons. I started lessons when I was 12 years old with an awesome teacher. His name was Nature, and I still keep in touch with Nature nowadays, which is awesome. Then I went to School of Rock, and then I met Reggie. So I had three teachers who I just love, and I still remember fondly. And two out of three I still keep in contact with. It's just awesome. I still see. Um, and so they made a big impression on me, and that's really cool. So.
You have any personal goal you like to reach?
Yes, sir. Put out this album.
Uh-huh.
That's been my goal for 14 years, Brian. Let me tell you something. So we're
Wow.
getting really close, and so it's kind of funny this interview came about, and hopefully, I'm just stoked, to try to get it out there. So
Cool. Cool. What about live shows? Can you tell me anything? Do you enjoy them? Do you not enjoy them? Do you whatever?
yeah, I love a good live show. Obviously, I used to go to a lot of shows as a kid. Nowadays, I can't say I go to as many. But I love to go to see a good band I really love. Absolutely, I get pumped up. We'll definitely be playing some live shows as a band too. We're just a power trio, and we're excited to get out there and play a few shows with some local bands, get the word out there. So absolutely.
Definitely cool. Well, Andrew, it's great talking to you, and I appreciate the chat. We also thank Reggie Wu for hooking us up, and
Absolutely.
he's a great guy too. You know.
Yes, sir.
So, would you like to say anything to the fans out there?
Uh, nah, I think I said everything. I don't know.
Cool.
Check out, I guess check out the band Adverse Concept. We'll definitely, hopefully, we'll put out something and soon.
Thanks a lot, Andrew. Thanks for the chat.
Dude, thanks so much for having me. It was a pleasure.
No problem. Talk to you
Take
later.
care.